We are delighted to have all of you with us today. Thank you so much for being here. A couple things I wanted to say ahead of time. I wanted to thank the James Graham Brown Foundation and the Jewish Heritage Foundation, who were early believers and supporters in this project. They weren't able to be with us today, so I wanted to be sure to mention them. I wanted to recognize our board for their trust and their steadfast passion for our mission. I wanted to recognize Nick Murphy, who is the project manager, and he worked tirelessly on this project, overseeing every detail here. And then we have a couple of other projects that are underway that are under this umbrella. Wanted to recognize our another member of our project team, as well as our executive team at Wellspring, and that's Rick Alexander. He's our CFO. He's here somewhere. Right there he is. Our contractor, GP Enterprises, with Gerald Palmer and Steve Duncan, who are here somewhere. They've done an amazing job. I think they were here till 5 this morning. Truth. And also, we have some other great guests here. We have the Commonwealth's Attorney right with us today. We're glad to have you with us. And we've got local HUD with us somewhere. Let's see. There, right here. Great to have Danielle Story with us. And then we have Krista Mills sitting in the back here, who's with HUD, Federal HUD. So it's an honor to have her. And so many other great people. But I'm going to turn this over to our board chair now. Yeah, it's your turn. It's Bill Friel. Thank you. Who's also been on this project team and been amazing.
I tried to say no. Public speaking isn't my favorite thing in the world, but thank you all for being here. It's an extremely exciting day to have you here for the ribbon cutting. For Wellspring, the amount of work that's gone into this is amazing. It's been over a year, basically, of a tremendous amount of work and effort from the people at Wellspring, from the local officials and the community, people at HUD. I mean, I could go on and on and on. I would never be able to say everybody. The main approach was to identify properties in areas of close proximity to grocery stores, pharmacies, bus stops, green spaces, hugely important. Areas that weren't already saturated with the low-income housing and things. So it's a great, obviously, location. I think you could all agree to that. This housing will provide small but really high-quality units, apartments for the community, the most vulnerable people in our community, which is great, along with the services, support services that they need to hopefully build better lives for themselves. So it's exciting. Wellspring is proud to play a small role in addressing the tremendous need for Louisville's affordable housing, and at the same time, we hope that this development will provide critical opportunities for those who will live to build positive lives moving forward. So hugely important. All of this has been made possible by the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The funds are provided by ARPA, which is amazing. If you don't know more about it, Google it. It's a really great program. After decades of begging and pleading, and I was just talking to Steve about this, for money to build housing, low-income housing, we've actually made huge strides in that environment, thanks to that. All of this has been made possible by so many people in the community. For Wellspring, to me, a lot of it goes to the leadership of Kathy Dobbins. Her leadership, but more so in her leadership of being able to build an amazing team that's behind her. That takes a lot of talent. So thank you all for being here. Greatly appreciate it.
So yeah, it's my great honor to be able to introduce Mayor Greenberg. Let me say a couple things about him. We're honored to have him with us today to celebrate the completion of this first project, largely funded through ARPA funds, coming through Metro Louisville through their pot of ARPA. We all know that Mayor Greenberg has been a staunch housing advocate, pushing hard for the creation of more affordable housing. It was a key platform issue for him, and last year he put forth his comprehensive plan called My Louisville Home. And I'm going to quote you here. Mayor Greenberg said, "Safe, affordable housing is a basic human need, and we need more housing in every zip code and every Metro Council district." Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so much, Kathy, and it's great to be with you all here today. It's great every time we can celebrate as a community another high quality, safe quality, affordable housing units that are coming online, and particularly ones like this that have so much support associated with them as well for the residents, this time provided by our great partners at Wellspring. As Kathy just said, I have said it a lot and I will continue to always say it, that safe, quality, affordable housing is a basic human need. It's the foundation for all of our families and everything else that we do in life. It's the foundation for great neighborhoods like this one and for everything we do as a city. And that's why making more safe, quality, and affordable housing throughout our entire city is a top priority for my administration and me. And it's very important that we continue to reiterate that safe, quality, and affordable housing should be in every neighborhood in our entire city, not just in other people's neighborhoods. Affordable housing is not an over there problem. It's a right here problem, wherever we're standing in this city. And so I'm so glad that this here, in this wonderful neighborhood, is a new Wellspring property, right here. And it's also a reflection that we need lots of different types of housing. There's not just one type of housing that is needed across our entire city. Housing solutions don't look the same for every family or every neighborhood. There's new construction, there's middle housing, there's apartments, there's for sale housing. There are modular homes like the new project, the new development that we just announced for West Louisville with MMY that is bringing modular home construction right here to Louisville. And this Wellspring project is just another great example of a great model of housing that we can get this done. Rehabilitating an existing property and giving it a new life. And this property that focuses on our most vulnerable populations. Wellspring helps us address the challenges of homelessness and mental illness. And that's so critical because these challenges so often overlap. And that's why as we move forward, we need to continue to have strong partnerships like the one we have with Wellspring and the one we have with the Affordable Housing Trust Fund and the Coalition for the Homeless. Christy and Natalie, thank you all so much for being here. Thanks for your support of projects like this and projects like this across our entire city. It's only through partnerships that we will do this together. Partnerships between my administration and the Metro Council, with leaders like Councilman Ben Reno Weber, that are strong supporters like me of continuing to invest record amounts in the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, in the development of the Community Care Campus, and other initiatives to address more affordable housing, to support more programs, to support mental health care. Those are things that we can continue to do to support those in need. Councilman Reno Weber, thank you so much for your leadership, for your support. Love working together. And at the state level, I see we have former and soon-to-be future Representative Marzian with us here today. We need some help from the state as well. We need help from the state to pass an affordable housing tax credit on a statewide basis that we can pair with the federal low-income housing tax credit. We need the state to support our efforts to change some of our approaches to planning and design and zoning so that we can build dense corridors of opportunity across our entire city. And that as people's needs for housing evolve, we can have more density in different places so that we can bring down the cost of housing for Louisvillians across our entire city. And so I look forward to working with our friends in Frankfort to get their support as well for these critical affordable housing initiatives that we all need. And finally, when we're talking about help, it is great to have an amazingly strong partner in Washington, D.C., who also supports the need for more affordable housing in Louisville and across the entire country. And that is our Congressman Morgan McGarvey. Congressman, thank you so much for your advocacy in D.C., for your support of more federal support for affordable housing in our city and so many others like ours. And together with these type of partnerships, at the federal level, at the state level, at the local level, with our nonprofit partners, we can achieve the big, bold goal that our administration has set out to build or renovate 15,000 new affordable housing units in the next few years. Because once we make that goal happen, we're going to need to do it again and again, because this problem is not going away. We need to dedicate more resources, more energy, more partnerships than ever before, so that every family in our city, in every neighborhood, has a safe, quality, and affordable place to call home. Thank you, Wellspring. Congratulations, and I look forward to continue working on these partnerships. I forgot, the best part about being mayor is the ability to issue proclamations. And in honor of this wonderful new project that we have, and thanks to Wellspring so much for what they're doing, and to all of the other great partners that we have here today, I'm dedicating today, May 10th, as Affordable Housing Day across the entire city of Louisville. Now that's it for real.
Thank you so much, Mayor. And our next speaker is Congressman Senator McGarvey. A couple of weeks ago, Congress made changes to the appropriations and community project funding process, which will exclude nonprofits from applying and receiving federal funds through that process. Senator McGarvey expressed his concern and his support for the work of nonprofits and his frustration at our exclusion. Thank you, Senator, for recognizing the value that nonprofits bring. A recent article provided this quote from the senator: "Nonprofits in Louisville do amazing work for our communities and deserve access to the federal funding needed to sustain and grow their impact." If nonprofits had been excluded from applying for ARPA funds, we wouldn't be standing here today. So, Senator McGarvey, please come up. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. I tell you, when you do these things, sometimes you want to speak first and sometimes you want to speak last. I would have rather spoken first today because I think the mayor did an awesome and amazing job of hitting on the need and the importance of affordable housing. And then, in my world, in legislative, he was granted then extra time to give a proclamation. We neither get extra time nor proclamations. So that was pretty great to see. And he said, I love it also, he said, this is the best, one of the best parts of my job is I get to give these proclamations. After my week in Washington this week, Mayor, the best part of your job is that Marjorie Taylor Greene isn't on the council. When somebody else gives your speech, you just got to wing it. But I want to welcome everybody to the Highlands. And Kathy, you were so kind, but a lot of people here probably thought you gave me a promotion in referring to me as senator. I know, but that's what's so great. I represented this area in the state Senate for 10 years. This is the 19th Senate District. It's the 41st representative district. It's the 8th council district with Councilman Ben Reno Weber. This is home. And you know what I say? Yes, in my backyard. The mayor is right. We need affordable housing in every zip code, not just in Louisville, not just in Kentucky, but everywhere in our country. Housing is a human right, and we must be putting people in housing if we are to tackle any and every other problem we have to deal with. So I'm excited we're here today. I'm excited we're here in the Highlands. I'm excited about what Wellspring and Kathy's team that they are doing. They've done amazing work in our community to increase access to housing, making sure that some of our most vulnerable community members have a safe, stable place to live. And I want to take just a second to talk about the effort that went into making this possible. Kathy Dobbins has done yeoman's work. You have done an incredible, give her a round of applause. She and her incredibly dedicated team recognized the urgent need for more supportive housing in Louisville, and they moved quickly to purchase 50 existing properties, rehabbing them quickly to bring new units online faster than new construction. And this property is the largest of the new buildings. And I say this, and we can talk about all the stats, we can talk about all the numbers. Make no mistake about it. This work is going to save lives. And Kathy, I want to hit on something else you said about the importance of having those federal nonprofit, those private-public partnerships. This new development was made possible through a $13 million federal package from the American Rescue Plan, which made record investments in underserved communities across our country. So I'm truly grateful for all of our partners, for Councilman Reno Weber for the work you've done, Mary Lou for the work we did in Frankfurt when founding the Affordable Housing Caucus, all the people who worked tirelessly to make this a reality. James Graham Brown Foundation, I know you guys are here, the Jewish Heritage Fund for Excellence, Emergent Capital Group, and of course, I've got to give a special thanks. I've given him enough grief now. I got to give a special thanks to our mayor, Craig Greenberg. Craig, whether it was before you were running for office and talking about affordable housing, whether it was on the campaign trail and talking about the need for affordable housing, and now as mayor, as you continue to put an emphasis on the basic human need, as you said, for affordable housing, you are following through on those promises, and we are truly grateful for your work. So I will tell you, before I got up here, Mary Lou said, be short. Nobody wants to listen to you. So I'll stop now. But I just want to say there are a lot of barriers to getting people into affordable housing. With projects like this, with the work of all the state, local leaders, the nonprofits involved, the federal government, we are knocking down those barriers, and we will not stop. So again, welcome to the Highlands. Yes, in my backyard, and let's keep going.
So that was very nice of you, Representative McGarvey, to give me all that credit. But really, that credit is something that a lot of us share in. We wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for the city working with Alicia Arietti here and Jennifer Dye. They're right over here. Working with the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, Christy McCravey, working with Natalie Harris, the Coalition for the Homeless, and working with the Director of Housing for the city, who has been always supportive of us. So thank you so much. So, with that said, I wanted to now introduce Ben Reno Weber. So thank you so much. Well, let me just say, okay, I had a few things I was going to say about the guy. You know, I called him really early on with this project, and in true Ben fashion, he said, "Bring it on." He's been supportive consistently throughout. Very enthusiastic, and you know, Ben is his work is in health equity, and so you know this project that we're doing here fits really, I think, fits right into all the things that or a lot of the things. He does a whole lot more than this, but he's certainly focused on health equity in his work, and you know this project, I think, represents a lot of well, housing is critical to health equity. Let me just say that. And so to have quality housing, affordable housing, permanent housing, and is there anything else? Housing. Well, actually, one more thing, being located in quality neighborhoods. So having all of those things, and we have it right here. So I think this project works for you.
It doesn't.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. If you can't be short, be tall. Mary Lou, I promise I'll be short. So I don't know really what to do. I got out-proclaimed. We have a project. It's now a whole day for affordable housing. I was going to welcome you to the Highlands, but, okay, that's all done. I was going to tell that story. So I'm really going to be brief, and I will say this. We know that the problems in our community are best solved when you engage the people closest to the problems. When you engage them meaningfully, when you listen to their voices, and then you talk with them about what we can do when we problem solve together. And it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to agree with them about everything or that everyone is going to get everything that they want. But I will tell you this. When Kathy called me, and I think very much expecting me to be like, no, we're not going to do that. And by the way, everyone who yells at us, I'm going to send to you. And she was very surprised to hear me say, wonderful, give me the talking points. I'm happy to engage the neighbors with you and on your behalf. And that's what we've done. And, when there were neighbors who have had concerns, and I think those concerns are right, and we need to hear them and honor them and work to address them. And they said, well, these are going to be your kids. And I was like, oh, friends, my son does Boy Scouts or did Cub Scouts right over there. My daughter plays basketball right there. I learned to play basketball right there, and I bike through this street all the time. It is now embarrassingly covered with my face, and I cannot wait for 11 days from now when that is not the case. But this is exactly the kind of development that we need. And we need it for more than just because it is the right thing to do for the people that we care about and are most vulnerable in our community. It is that. And for everyone who shares my equity agenda, that is wonderful. But if you do not share my equity agenda, let us make a financial case for this. When we talk about the costs of having people who cannot get access to stable housing, the overuse of the ERs, the carceralization of folks whose real crime is that they cannot afford a place to live that has the services that they need in a neighborhood that they want, it doesn't really matter whether you share my equity agenda. Share my pocketbook agenda. Share my agenda for us building the kind of financially sustainable community in which everyone can thrive, and let's do it together. And it's even better when we can bill Medicaid for a lot of the things that we are trying to do to provide the services that we want. And Mary Lou, I'm done. Thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you, Ben. I have to lower this for me. And, a minute ago, I was like, the Director of Housing, Marilyn Harris. I neglected to say your name. But she's also been a great support. And now we have Christy McCravey. And Christy is the Executive Director of the Louisville Affordable Housing Trust Fund. And under Christy's leadership, the Affordable Housing Trust Fund has invested millions of dollars into our community in the development of much, much, much needed, as we've all heard today, affordable housing. The Affordable Housing Trust Fund makes our community stronger because they put hard work into the belief that everyone deserves a safe, affordable home to call their own. Wellspring is extremely grateful to be the recipient of ARP funding in the form of a forgivable loan through the trust fund, 20 years down the road, forgivable. And that enabled us to move forward on this project and develop Douglass Boulevard as well as the other properties that are under development now. So, it was really pivotal to our being able to do this. So thank you so much, Christy, and to the Trust Fund.
Okay, I'm boring compared to everybody else here. Not entertaining at all. But good afternoon. As she said, I'm Christy McCravey, and I am the Executive Director of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. We at the Trust Fund are so excited and blessed to be here today to celebrate the first of many project completions from the $40 million investment into housing from the American Rescue Plan funds received in 2022. Yes, first one. I would say most in our community are fortunate to understand the housing needs of those who are most vulnerable in our community, like those served by our partners at Wellspring. They are providing more than housing. They are providing independence, a sense of self-worth, and a sense of humanity that most of us all take for granted. Additionally, don't forget that every future and current resident has a family that now has a weight lifted. Just knowing that their loved one is off the street and has a safe, decent, affordable house and place to live while obtaining the services they so need to stay healthy. We are so blessed to play a role in making this happen. Thank you, Wellspring, for all that you do in serving this community. Thank you, Metro Government, all of you, Metro Council, for allocating funds for permanent supportive housing for those in the community who need it most. And thank you, Trust Fund Board of Directors and staff, for showing up every day, in spite of what else is going on in the community, so that we can have more celebratory moments just like this. Thank you.
All right. Our last speaker is Natalie Harris. Natalie is the executive director of the Coalition for the Homeless. And we at Wellspring are grateful, and I personally grateful to Natalie in so many ways. Without Natalie, this project probably wouldn't have happened. We initially didn't get enough funding to really do the project fully. And Natalie really was an advocate, recognized the need and the value of the project, and I'm deeply grateful for that. I guess, with that said, thank you, Natalie. Thank you for the work you do with the Coalition every day. Thank you for the advocacy you do for our whole community on behalf of very vulnerable people living on our streets and needing housing. Thank you.
I have to start with just a couple of comments. These are things that I hate that I have to say, but I think it's important to say. The first is permanent supportive housing works. Housing first works. More and more people don't want to believe that, but it does. It works, and nobody in this community has done more and done it longer to show that it works than Wellspring. This community, led by the work that Wellspring does, has a 97 to 98% success rate in permanent supportive housing. So all I can say is tell that story, let people know how successful this is, how important it is, and how much more of it we need. I'm excited. I'm really excited to see this first of the permanent supportive housing projects funded that were funded back during the COVID time. I have to thank Bill Hollander, who's here, who was one of the leaders in making that happen. There were many others, but he was definitely there in the lead. And I have to say one other thing, which is that this work is not easy. I'm really trying not to cry up here today because I cannot tell you the number of times that Kathy and I talked, and she said, I don't think this project's going to happen. I just don't think it's going to happen. And every single time I said, oh, yeah, it is. Oh, it is. We're going to make sure this thing happen, not knowing whether that was true or not. But what I did know is that Kathy was going to do whatever it took to make it happen. And so that is why I believed. And I still believe, and I just ask everyone here to continue to be supportive of these kinds of projects and to be thankful for everything that Wellspring is doing. And I'm so excited to be here and so excited to see this happen.
We're going to do a countdown, all right? Here we go. We're going to cut it on one. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.